Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I just wanted to do a quick video comparing a couple of helmets, really like a battle of the budget helmets, so to say. Because, well, the reason I want to do it is because that is a Frank Thomas, this one here is a Frank Thomas FT62, and you don't really hear or see anything about these. Whereas this is a HJC C10, and these, everyone knows these. These are popular. These are everyone knows about these. So I thought I'd just compare them because they're both under £100, so they're both like budget helmets, but not being too budget. You know, that it's like unsafe AliExpress crap. Okay, so they're both cheap. They're both under £100. I got this for like 65 quid in a sale, and that was £80 in a sale. But I think they both retail at £99, and then an extra £20 or so for the pin locks. So let's go on the comparisons. Comfort. Start with comfort. This one is light. The C10 is lighter than the FT62. Skimming shot. The C10 is lighter than the FT62, not by much. I think it says on the back 1400 grams, that's 1550, so 150 grams difference. If weight is a big factor for you, then obviously the HJC wins that one. Where I think the HJC doesn't win against the FT62 is in the padding. You see, let's get this in there, the padding here. It's actually quite thin, and it's more of a coarse material. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in there. It's more of a rough, coarse type of material, and you won't be able to see up top. But anyway, that's quite thin. I'll leave that there so you can see it on the side for comparison. And then this is the FT62. Bear in mind, this is an extra small. That's a small. But I think probably a small would do me. This might be a tiny bit too much on the cheeks for me, but it's very secure. But look at the padding difference. Look how plush that is. Very thick padding there. Like I say, it is an extra small, but a small would just be like that. So it would still be much plusher. And it's not so coarse material. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's a softer material, not so coarse. And I've also found that the material up here is a bit softer, so it feels a bit nicer around the crown of the head than the C10. Now the C10 is not uncomfortable, don't get me wrong. It's just I find this one more comfortable. So the lightweight goes to the HJC, the padding goes to the Frank Thomas. I guess the last part about comfort is noise comes under comfort, really, doesn't it? The HJC is a tiny bit quieter on wind noise. This, maybe it isn't any louder, you're just getting more of the wind noise rather than the environment noise. Whereas the HJC, I find I get a lot more ambient noise, like engine noises. So when I actually got this, I thought something might have happened with my engine or something, because I was hearing noises that I didn't hear before. And no, you just hear more engine with this, more ambient noise and less wind noise. If I get time, I might take a microphone out in the helmets and show you the difference. So I'll when I get time, I'll film that and I'll drop it in here now. Okay, so if we move on to features, I have to say the Frank Thomas one probably wins for features as well. Now, this is a bog standard helmet. It's very basic. It's there's no sunscreen in this. There's no visor. Whereas with the Frank Thomas, you get a You get a sun visor with the Frank Thomas one, which is nice at that price point. Not this one, you don't get a sun visor. This has a big central vent at the front, which is actually pretty darn good. And this bit here, the vent that goes up the inside of the shield, is actually quite a solid plastic. You know, that's solid. So that is quite a solid mechanism. Whereas on the Frank Thomas, you got your little vents here. They're plastic vents, and then you got this little rubber sort of breath guard. Then you got the single little bit down here that does these vents. You also have one, probably won't be able to see it. Also, you can see it there, that little switch inside there. That little switch inside there is a little switch where you can close off the vents to the mouth. So it only goes up here. That doesn't have it, it's literally just that. It's literally just that coming up through the wind. So that's got a nice little switch in there. Apart from that, it's got a big head vent on the Frank Thomas and two little exhaust vents, not exhaust vents, intake vents at the top here. So you've got two vents at the top there, there and there. Just slide forward back like that, and a couple of exhaust vents on the back. Whereas the C10 has a couple of these little buttons. They do have like little steps in them, but how well you're going to feel them with gloves on is anyone's guess, because they're not exactly a solid indent. Basically, when you've got gloves on, it's just going to be that or that. You're going to be very lucky to get it. It's not stepped, very tough. You know, the indents are not very strong, so you're just going to whack straight past them. And a couple of small exhaust ports on the back, here and here. Venting wise, even though the Frank Thomas has more venting options, I feel the venting on this is probably, this scoop at the front just feels superior. But I do like the bit inside where you can close it off on your mouth. That's really good. So venting, I'd say they're about even. This front scoop though I do like. It does enough let a lot of airflow through and up through the inside of the visor. So they're both good venting wise. Can't complain. I've never had an issue. I mean, before I got the pin lock, that used to steam up, but since the pin lock, it's fine. I'll steam up in like very cold early mornings. Obviously I've not tried this one because I didn't bother riding this without a pin lock. And speaking of the pin locks, you can see just how big the HJC pin lock is. It covers the whole visor. Whereas on the Frank Thomas, excuse the dust on it, it doesn't cover the whole visor. It's that bit in the middle there. But I've never found it to be an issue with vision. It's never been an issue at all. You never think, oh, I wish this pin lock was bigger so I could see out of it more. So I don't think there's really much else to say about them. They're both ratchet straps. So nothing special going on there, no double D-rings for one or the other. And the rest of it, I guess, is just looks. The liveries and the shape. It's the HJC C10. I actually really like this livery, and because it was on sale, it was one of the few that was on sale for £65. So that's that, and this Frank Thomas. These have lots and lots of liveries, and they have some funky ones as well, like this one here, look, big spider on the back. Like caterpillar or whatever it is going around the helmet. Lots and lots of colours, lots of liveries, so there's a lot of choice with this helmet. And it's more of a sporty look, a sporty shape. Frank Thomas seems to be more of a flat-faced, sporty style look, whereas this is more round. So it's all a matter of perspective of what you want to look like. I think I probably personally prefer the shape of this one. If I was on a sports mic, maybe I might prefer the shape of that one. But it's all personal preference and pretty irrelevant to the comparison, I think. So that's it, really. I've got nothing else to say about these helmets. If I had to choose one, what would I choose? See, that's actually pretty difficult. I'm currently using the HJC more, but that might be because it's newer. I've only had it a month and a half, 2 months. Whereas I've got 2 of these. I've got a grey one, a matte grey one with black tiger stripes on it that I've got a chin mount on. I don't know. They're both as good as each other. I don't think you can really go wrong with either. I think most of it will come down to what you want to look like, because I don't know. I think the Frank Thomas one is more comfortable, if I'm being completely honest. But I prefer the look of that one at the moment, the shape of that one. So I like them both, and I use both. But I wanted to make this video because I don't ever see anything about these helmets, even though there's loads of them in obviously being Frank Thomas, you can only get them in J&S because it's owned by J&S, Frank Thomas. So I don't ever see anything about these helmets, whereas you see a lot about them. So I wanted to make the comparison. So I'm waffling on now, but honestly, I think people overlook this helmet. And for the price point, under £100, I think they are extremely good helmets. So I think that's about all I have to say. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you own either of these helmets, or if you own both like I do, what you decided, and let us know what you think of them. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a future video. See you later. Bye.